Welcome everyone to another live stream with me, Professor Heather Austin. Did we all make it? Holy smokes, it has been so long since we have live streamed here on this channel. If you can hear me and see me okay, give this video a big, huge thumbs up. Say hello in the live chat. Let us know where you're joining us from. Thank you so much for being here. And for everyone that jumped in early, we are in a brand new space. So we have so much to cover with you guys today. I have my amazing moderators in the live chat to help answer questions as we go throughout today's live stream. Today, we are talking about job search mistakes that are destroying your confidence and costing you money. So you're going to want to make sure you take notes. You're going to want to make sure you can hear me and see me okay. Let me know if audio is coming through on your side, and we are going to get started. Tim, thanks so much for being in the chat as our moderator. David, I'm so happy to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Well, I haven't seen any of you guys in a while. Let's see who jumped in early. Corbin, so happy to see you here from Maine. From DC, we have DC in the house. Tina, I'm happy to see you too, from Philly. J-Rod, I haven't seen you in a while either, from Houston. Let's see, we have Georgia in the house. We have Joanne from Long Island, New York. We have Florida in the house. Jacqueline, happy to see you guys. Frank, I'm happy to see you too. You guys, it's so fun to see so many familiar faces in the live chat. If you are not logged into YouTube, make sure you get logged in so that you can say hello to us in the chat. I have some amazing content to share with you guys today. I'm going to share with you a little bit about what's also been happening over the last little while, because this is our first live stream since November. So I haven't seen you guys for almost 6 months. Have you missed me? Because I have definitely missed you guys. I'm going to jump right into the slides because we have so much to cover. So again, we are talking about job search mistakes that are destroying your confidence and costing you money. And if you guys have ever joined a live stream of mine, you know that I love to ask you a lot of questions. So make sure you're logged into YouTube so that you can respond to the questions. And of course, ask me questions as we go, and I'll answer those during today's live stream. So if you don't know who I am Professor Heather Austin. I am a university professor turned entrepreneur. We've had this channel now for maybe 8 years. I don't know. Time goes so darn fast. I don't even know what year it is sometimes or what day it is. So we have been teaching career content on this channel for quite a while, where we have helped hundreds of thousands of job seekers land life-changing job offers through my job search strategies, resume writing strategies, LinkedIn, all that amazing stuff. We've had some major changes here though. I've moved homes. So we had a huge transition. This is my new office. It's kind of cute. I like it. It's a little bit smaller than my last office, but it's not bad. It's great. I'm glad that I have a place to come and chat with you guys about improving your job search skills and your strategies. I haven't shown a picture of my kids for a while. So these are my amazing kids. I have 4 of them. My oldest is now 18, and all my kids are almost taller than me. So I have three amazing sons and 1 daughter. Recently, this is something I'm going to tell you guys also, because this is also part of the transition. I've become a single mom. So the reason why I'm here today doing what I do, of course, is to show them that no matter what, they can develop a foundation, they can achieve anything that they want through determination, through resilience and overcoming challenges. And that's exactly what we are doing today. Now, the other reason why I'm here, or why I do what I do, is because we've been able to help so many job seekers across the globe land top job offers at some amazing companies: Google, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Disney, Intel, Harvard University, the PGA Golf Tour, pretty much any company you can think of. We've probably had a hand in helping them land some of those job offers and interviews. So here's the thing, you guys. I have something special for you at the very end of today's workshop. I am hosting my ultimate resume and LinkedIn profile makeover workshop next week on May 20th and 21st at 1 p.m. If you guys want to join us and you want to be some of the early access attendees, you can go to heatheraustin.online/workshop, or you can scan that QR code on the screen. I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go throughout today's session. But if you have not joined the channel before, you don't know who I am, I'm going to share a couple of success stories with you just so that you know it's possible if you guys join us and you stick around for today. And then if you decide you want to join us next week for our resume and LinkedIn profile makeover workshop, we would love to have you. So Erin wrote in and said, your resume, cover letter, and interview guidance successfully helped me to receive 2 job offers. She said, I was able to find my dream job, which comes the benefits of increased pay and, more importantly, work in an area which I find rewarding. Now, here's the cool thing about Erin's story. She actually only applied to 2 jobs. She didn't apply to 10. She didn't apply to 100. She applied to 2. And that's what I'm going to teach you guys some strategies here today. Chuck wrote in and said, because I implemented your advice offered on your YouTube videos, I have landed the job that I wanted that checks all the boxes. Now in the chat, if you want a job that checks all the boxes, type yes in the chat. Chuck goes on to say, in record time, in just 3 weeks, he said, thank you for your YouTube channel. It's extremely impactful, informative, and effective. I just accepted the offer and I start next week. So listen, when we get success stories like this is what gives me the motivation and gives me the drive to show up and teach you guys strategies so that you can be the next success story on this channel. Leah wrote in and said, I lost my job. I was applying for jobs when I could, but I wasn't getting results. She said, I came across you on YouTube and watched your video on interview prep and the one on job interview confidence, and I've just accepted an offer for a project coordinator role at a great employer. She says, I'll be bringing home the money I wanted and working hybrid. So the commonality with these stories is we don't want you applying for hundreds of jobs. We want you to be able to land a job in record time. And we want you to be able to bring in the money that you want and have the schedule that you want. So we're going to get right into all the amazing stuff today. Make sure you guys have your note takers ready, because you're going to want to take some notes. And by the way, you do have access to this replay. Let me ask you another question. What is your biggest job search right now? So if you have to think about, as you're in the job market, what's the biggest challenge that you are facing in your job search right now? While you are typing that in, here are the 4 things we're going to touch on today. We're going to talk about the mistakes that are quietly draining your confidence. I'm going to give you a couple of ideas on how to fix them. We're also going to talk about why your current approach isn't working or getting results and what you need to do instead. We're going to talk a little bit about AI. So you guys know I've been leading heavily on AI in the job search because I'm seeing the job seekers that are knowing how to use it are getting insane results, and the ones that don't know how to use it properly are getting instant rejections and ghostings. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you're using AI the wrong way and what you need to do differently to stand out. And then we're going to finish off with a simple strategic plan to help you move forward with clarity and confidence. So yes, I'm seeing a lot of yeses in the chat. Let me know again what your biggest job search challenge has been. And yes, Sophia says, I've missed you. I've missed you guys so much. And yeah, someone says, hey, Tina Fey. For some reason, people think I look like her. I really don't. If you meet me in real person, I look nothing like her, but maybe on camera I do. Yes, I love it. Yes, Cindy says, welcome to the Short Girls Club. I'm officially shorter than my nephews. My kids are growing taller than me, and it's really sad. But you know what? I love it. Yes, someone says, I hope you're doing well. Yes, I love it. Okay, in terms of job search mistakes, I'm seeing a lot of people are talking a little bit about ageism or age discrimination. Tim says, finding a job that is flexible hours as my current job so I can get away from a toxic boss. Oh, there's a couple of things in there, Tim. Toxic boss and flexible work schedule. Someone says, I've been out of the workforce for several years now and I'm older. Yeah, I get it. So listen, you guys, we are going to talk a lot about mistakes that you could potentially be making and how to fix them so that we can build your confidence back up and you can make the money that you want and have the schedule that you want in when it comes to your work schedule. So Here's where we're going to start because I have some brand new slides to share with you guys. Again, you have access to this replay. So there were a lot of people that registered for this session today that couldn't join us live. If you are watching on the replay, make sure you're commenting below in the description. Let us know your biggest challenge. Let me know where you're joining us from, all that good stuff. So let's talk about the job search mistakes that are quietly draining your confidence and how to fix them quickly. So there's this thing that I saw recently online, and I created my own, but it's called the job hunt loop. And I want to know if you guys are in this loop, right? Type yes in the chat if you are in this loop. You apply for a position, you wait to hear back, you repeat that cycle, and then you either get ghosted or rejected. So this is the cycle that most job seekers get stuck in. And the more it repeats, the harder it feels to keep going. Is that right? Type yes in the chat if you can resonate with the job hunt loop. Now, let me share with you 4 mistakes that are causing this. So the very first one is you're applying to too many jobs. Someone in the comments had mentioned something about applying to hundreds of jobs. I've had people reach out and say, Heather, before I found your channel or before I registered for your workshop or before I attended your live stream, I was applying to 80 to 100 jobs a week and they were hearing nothing back. So if you think back to Erin's story where she only applied to 2 jobs and landed 2 job offers, that's the idea behind this. So applying to too many jobs, this means that you have no strategy. The second mistake is if you have a generic resume and a generic LinkedIn profile. Now, next week when I host my live, it's going to be a 2-day workshop where we talk all about LinkedIn and resume and your LinkedIn. I talk to you specifically about how to tailor each piece of all the content that's out there where you can start getting recruiters coming to you. But we definitely know that mistake number 2 is generic resume and a LinkedIn profile. Now, the third mistake is relying only on online applications. Now, I think online applications do have, it's a great way to get started with your job search, but we can't just rely only on those online applications because you have to remember, we know that there are hundreds and hundreds of people applying for certain positions. In fact, I don't know if you guys have had this experience where you see a position pop up potentially on LinkedIn and you're like, oh, this is a great fit. And you go and click on the position to apply and it will show you that over 100 people have clicked the link to apply and the position was only listed for an hour, right? So we know that relying only on online applications does not work. And then the other thing that we are also picking up on is that if you're using AI, but you're sounding like everyone else. So you're not tailoring your content, you're not adding your personalization, you're using exactly what AI spits out to you, and it's causing problems. So here's what I want you to think about instead. And take a screenshot of this if you need to. Focus on a targeted strategy, strong positioning, and using AI the right way, because even these small fixes will create fast momentum. So again, focus on a targeted strategy, strong positioning, and using AI the right way because small fixes create fast momentum. So take a screenshot of that, and then I have my next question for you. I'm seeing a lot of yeses in the chat. Yep, a lot of people talking about I'm in the job search loop. Cindy says, yes, I'm definitely in that loop. MC Taylor says, yes, the loop is real. Hi from Los Angeles. Love to see you guys here. Yes, Sophia says, I think I've lost my strategy along with my confidence. So listen, if you guys tune into these live streams of mine, I know I haven't been live for 6 months, but I've had a lot of life changes happen. I'm hoping that I can hop online with you guys live a little bit more frequently. Of course, I always have my workshops that you guys can enroll in if you decide to do that. If you follow these strategies, we get testimonials every single week sent to my email inbox and just posted online about thank you so much for giving me something that would help me build my confidence and keep that momentum going, because that's what we want you guys to have. And when I say we, I mean me and my entire team, because I have an amazing team behind me. Now, my next question for you is, are you currently using AI in your job search? Yes or no? So type in the chat. And I'm assuming most of you guys are, but type in the chat if you are currently using AI in your job search. While you're typing that in, let's move into why your current approach isn't getting results and what you need to do instead. So there's 4 ideas I want you to keep in mind here. when we're looking at why your approach isn't working, so we talked a little bit about those mistakes. We have 4 things that we want to always keep in mind in the back of our head when we are submitting an application or applying for the positions. You have to remember that ATS filters are screening you out. So, for example, if you don't have the right keywords or keyword phrases, or you haven't completely explained your results or the outcome that you've achieved, or your experience or your skills, and you are not matching up with those jobs or those positions, you're going to automatically get filtered out. So I've had a lot of people talk about they submit their application and pretty instantly they'll get a rejection, right? That's how fast the ATS and AI is reading your resume and your career materials. So again, we're always going to be focused on a tailored approach for every single position. But this is number one, why your current job search approach isn't working. The second thing I want you to think about is recruiter scan in seconds. So let's say that we get the resumes through, you get it to the recruiters from the ATS system. The recruiters might have, the top 100. Maybe they even pick the top 20 or the top 30 people just based on what the ATS thinks. Now, if you are qualified and you haven't set that positioning up properly in your resume and you're screened out immediately, you're never even making it through to the recruiter. But now you've got to get the recruiter and you've got to convince them in a couple of seconds to bring you in for an interview. So that's the second thing I want you to remember. The other thing I want you to remember is that you are competing a lot of times with hundreds of applicants. So there's hundreds of applicants that will apply to these positions that not only go through the ATS, now they need to get it through to the recruiter. The recruiter needs to be convinced that you are one of the top, because they're only going to hire one person. So one of the top 10, 15, 20 that even goes through and starts the interview process. And then finally on this note is visibility does not equal volume. So if this is what most job seekers believe, is that if you just apply to more jobs, I'll get more interviews. Right? So you could say, hey, I'm going to do 10 today. I'm going to do 10 the next day. I know I'm going to be able to land an interview with at least one of them. But think about the time that it's taken you just to do that, when let's say we could focus on 2 or 3 positions that you are highly qualified for, getting your materials tailored, and then hopefully getting interviews with all 3, and then hopefully a job offer with at least one of those. Here's what I want you to remember about today's job market. Is it's not about that volume anymore, right? So it's about how many jobs are you applying to, or it's not about how many jobs you're applying to, it's about how often the right people see you. So keep that in mind. Now, the other thing I want to ask you guys really quickly is, what would you say you're focusing on right now? Are you focusing on volume or are you focusing on visibility? So again, volume is going to be applying for as many positions as we can. Visibility is going to be where we're really tailoring our career content. We're getting it to the right people. We're applying for the right jobs, and then we're doing the proper outreach as soon as we submit our application. So let me see where you guys are in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of people that say you guys are using AI. I love that. And of course, I want you to use AI, but I want you to use it the right way. David says yes and no, not sure the best way to use it. Frank says not to search, but to build a cover letter. That's great, Frank. I think if we get our LinkedIn job alerts set up properly and we get those positions coming through to us and we do the application process, it's actually really easy to use AI to help you with your resume and your cover letter and your interview prep. But we also want to use it right because we don't want to be sounding like everyone else. And by the way, I do have a couple videos coming out in the next couple weeks where I talk a little bit specifically about recruiters are starting to see the same lingo. ATS is now screening out people that are using 100% AI to write their resume. So it's only getting smarter, but we're going to get smarter with it and we're going to learn how to use it so that we're not getting ghosted and rejected. Yes, I love it, even for executive jobs. Corbin says, AI, I do not use it to search, but yes, to tailor my resume, keywords, and cover letter. Perfect. I love it. So let me know in the chat, are you focused more on volume or visibility? So type either volume in the chat or type visibility in the chat. While you're typing that in, here's what I want to talk about specifically when it comes to AI, and that is how job seekers are using it the wrong way. and what to do differently instead. So I have some ideas for you guys to think about. And let me know if this is resonating with you and you are like, okay, this is me and I need to make some changes. So here's how you're using it the wrong way. You could be asking AI to write the entire resume from scratch, right? Like you could be using a simple prompt like, write me a resume. Now, here's what I want you to do instead. I want you to start with your real experience and then use AI to refine and improve it. So we're not just going to submit generic resumes. We are using our real experience and we're telling AI who we are. We're telling it some of the things that we've done. We're telling it some of our accomplishments, our projects, our biggest noteworthy moments in our career, and we're asking it to help us refine and improve this. Now, I have an amazing video coming out in probably next week. It will be out where I give you guys exact prompts on how to prompt AI, and we're not just going to use the first prompt it gives, and how to follow up with it so that you're getting better and better results, so that it's more custom and it's tailored and it doesn't sound like everyone else. Now, the next mistake when we're using AI is we're copying and pasting responses word for word. Here's what I want you to do instead. I want you to edit everything to match your voice, tone, and the actual results. So when you're putting this out on paper or you're putting it on your resume or you're sending a follow-up message to someone, I want you to be reading everything out loud to make sure it sounds like you, to make sure it doesn't sound like a robot, to make sure it doesn't sound like your neighbor John or Jill or whoever, right? We are making sure that this is sounding just like you. Now, the other mistake is using generic prompts. Like I mentioned earlier, write me a resume. Now, what I want you to do instead is use targeted prompts based on the job description. So I teach you guys a lot in next week's workshop, our resume and LinkedIn profile makeover workshop. I have a whole workbook that goes along with that workshop. I think it's a 20-page workbook. I don't know. It's a lot. That's why we break it down into 2 days, because we have a lot to cover, but I give you exact prompts that you can use to get AI to help you write your resume without sounding generic, without sounding boring, and without sounding like everyone else. Now, the other mistake is accepting vague bullet points, right? So you guys know, if you've been using AI for a little while, it will give you some vague bullet points. Like you could say like, hey, here's some of the things that I did. And it might say something like responsible for or proven track record in. We need to be able to tailor that. And we also need to be able to add metrics. We need to add outcomes, and we need to be able to add examples. So when you're thinking about getting these bullet points, and I like to recommend that you tailor each section separately for each position. Now, once you get into a system of this, it shouldn't take too long. You'll get the job description. You know you're qualified for it. And by the way, next week when we do our resume and LinkedIn makeover workshop, I'm going to show you exactly how to analyze the job description and show if you are a good match for this position based on what AI already knows about you, because AI is already going to give you kind of a hint as to, oh, you'll make it through this ATS. Now it's making it look nice and amazing and awesome so that the recruiter likes you and wants to bring you in. And then we now need to move on to the interview stage, right? So we're just trying to get you guys through the ATS, get you to the recruiter, and get you into that phase so that you can start negotiating your job offers. Now, the final thing when it comes to using AI the wrong way. In fact, you know what? This isn't even the final thing, because I could have a list of 20 things, but these were the most important things that I thought of for now, is submitting the same resume to every job. So I can't tell you enough how important it is for every single resume to be tailored to every single position. So you need to think about tailoring each section, as I mentioned. If you are submitting a cover letter, the cover letter needs to be tailored to the heck, right? Like you have to get that cover letter tailored. And then your LinkedIn profile should also be tailored. Now, here's the thing with LinkedIn that's a little bit trickier, is think of that as like your sales page. Think of that as your branding page. You can't always go in and tailor your LinkedIn profile. However, if you do have an industry that you know that you're targeting, you can tailor to the industry, and then you're going to kind of leave it and let it kind of flesh its way out. If you're not getting results on your LinkedIn profile, then you can go back in and start tweaking and changing it to see if you get the results that you're hoping. Resumes, it's easy. because you're submitting one resume to one job, and then hopefully you're sharing your LinkedIn profile on the top of your resume, and then they can go and look at your LinkedIn profile. And this is again where next week we're going to talk about recommendations and endorsements and all the skills that you have listed, because that's what gets the recruiter excited about you. That's what gets a new career opportunity excited about you. And then hopefully you move on to the interview stage. So again, I'm going to say over and over and over, tailor your resume for each role using keywords. And it's not even just keywords, it's keyword phrases, it's the skills section, it's your experience section, all that good stuff. Now, really quickly before, I actually want to share a quick video with you guys. It's a video that I found from one of my favorite, actually, I shouldn't even call her my favorite, but it's a lady that I follow on TikTok. She's a news anchor, and I want to share a little bit about what she says about the current job market. But before I share that with you, what's one action step based on this that you can take today? So type into the chat, what's one action step that you can take today? And I want to know, because you guys can take an action step based on what I've shared. Let's see. Someone says, I've been looking for a job for 9 months and have been hitting a wall. David, should my AI altered resume be matched to the job posting as closely as possible? 100% yes. It's going to be matched almost identical. Now, we want to be careful about, not repeating what's in the job description word for word, right? But we want to be able to use keywords and keyword phrases. I will talk a little bit about this during the LinkedIn and resume workshop. I'm going to share a little bit more about that workshop in a second, but I'm going to play this clip. While this clip is playing, I'm going to pin a link to the chat for you guys. If you want to just click on that link and you can take a look at next week's workshop. So let me see if I can pull this lady up, and it's like a 30-second clip. So I'll see you guys on the other side of this.
Tech job losses are spiking unlike other industries. We have seen now a 33% increase in tech jobs being lost in 2026, whereas the rest of the economy has actually seen fewer job losses, 50% fewer, according to Challenger data. So what's going on? Is technology laying off people faster because of the impact of AI, and is this a leading indicator? Well, actually, AI is the #1 blame for the job losses in April for a second straight month. But if you look at 2026 as a whole, Challenger sees that actually only 13% of all job losses are actually blamed on artificial intelligence. And you go back to 2023 when they first started tracking AI as a blame factor, it's a much smaller percentage than that. Usually it's a macroeconomy or it's closures of businesses. But whether you see it as AI washing, companies saying that it's AI that means they can do with fewer workers, or whether you just realize that, look, even if they don't blame AI, they're going to use the salaries saved to invest in that technology. Either way, is AI kind of taking the job? Let me know what you think about some of the anxiety and hand-wringing, because look, there is data out there. For example, the ECB showing that actually companies that are using AI a lot, they're adding to workers. They're not taking them away.
Okay, so isn't that interesting? So I talk so much about on this channel how to use AI in your job search, but she's talking about real numbers that are coming out right now in the job market. So she's saying, and I took some notes when I was watching this, she's saying that 30% of the job losses are due to AI, right? And she's talking about that there's actually a 50% less job loss in other industries. So I know that there's all these people that are like, the job market's crumbling and falling down. But really, if you look at the numbers, AI is not necessarily hurting the industry. It's actually making it better. She even said that companies that are using AI a lot are adding workers. So think about that. You guys, if you can get and you can learn AI and you can learn the proper job search strategies, and then you can carry that into your job search or into your new employment, it's going to make a world of a difference for you. So again, type into the chat, what's one action step that you can take today? I'm going to see if I can pin this comment to the top for you so that you guys can take a look at our resume and LinkedIn makeover workshop. I'll get to that in just a second. So let me pin that so you guys have access to that at the very top. So what's one action step that you can take today? I want to introduce you to something. So I talked to you guys a little bit about a simple strategic plan to help you move forward with clarity and confidence. Here's what the plan is for you, okay? And this is if you're willing to trust me and move forward in the next step in this process. We've had amazing results. I'm going to bring David on in just a second with his success story so that you guys can see what's possible. But again, I want to invite you, our simple strategic plan to help you move forward with clarity and confidence is the Ultimate Resume and LinkedIn Profile Makeover Workshop. This is happening live. It's a 2-day workshop in a private Zoom room. So we're going to start at 1 p.m. Eastern. I normally will go live for about 2 hours each day. So we have a lot of content to cover in there because we're basically going to rewrite your entire resume and your LinkedIn profile. And I'm going to show you some really amazing things that will start getting you results right away. Like if you join us next week and you start putting this into practice, you're going to see results immediately. Now, this is a live 2-day interactive workshop. What we focus on is how to write an ATS-friendly resume in record time, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile so recruiters find you, and of course, how to use AI prompts to save hours and supercharge your job search. So a couple more success stories just from my clients and my audience and my the people that enroll in my programs. Michael wrote in and said, "Thank you for the amazing, insightful videos. I applied for a position with my state on 3 separate occasions and did not get the job." He said, "Prior to his 4th attempt, I discovered your videos and studied them day in and day out." And he said, "Guess what? I got the job." So he had applied on 3 different occasions and got rejected. And then he studied the content and the material that I offer to you guys here. And he applied for the position and he got the job. Amy wrote in and said, "I stumbled across one of your YouTube videos and I have to say it was the best resume video I've seen." She said, "The information you provided was so key and truly helped me overcome the hurdle of writing about myself and putting quantifiable achievements into my resume." Now, let me know, type yes into the chat if you guys have a hard time quantifying your achievement. So meaning getting making sure you're showing the results, showing the outcome. She says, "I was able to land the exact job I was after with a 30% salary increase." She said the hiring manager mentioned in her interview that the resume was highly spoken about within the HR department. And she said, "That's a first for me." And then Josh wrote in and says, "Thank you for your videos and the awesome resume template." He said, "I was able to get a $35,000 promotion. I'm grateful for the work you do." So again, the common theme here, you guys, is we're not applying to hundreds of positions. We're getting focused on a real strategy that will help you hone in on only the positions that you want to apply for, that you are qualified for, that you can get through the ATS, and then get onto a recruiter and get into the interview process. That's really the entire idea behind this. So let me share this. Let me share you guys with you the enrollment page really quickly for our workshop next week. If you guys decide you want to join us, I'm going to just walk through a little bit about what we're going to be talking about. I do have some bonuses. I even have some fast action bonuses for those that are wanting to take action fast. I like to reward you guys for that. I'm a turtle though. I won't get something until it's the last second, almost sold out. So, and by the way, this is a private event and space is limited. So it's not a live stream on YouTube where anyone from anywhere can come. This is a private event. So in the very first section of the workshop, we're going to be talking about an essential framework for building a customizable ATS-friendly resume. So again, I kind of walk you guys through piece by piece what needs to be in your resume and how we're going to structure that properly. We also go into your resume summary and writing a persuasive resume summary, because remember, in one of the reasons why I mentioned why you're getting overlooked is because recruiters take seconds to scan your resume. I am still a big believer in having a powerful resume summary. So I go into my exact framework on how to create that summary. And I even give you guys options on how long do we want this summary to be? Do we want to have a core competency section in there? Do we want to have a career highlights section in there? And not everyone's resume is going to look the exact same, but I give you the structure and I give you the framework so that you can move forward and make a powerful resume. Now, in lesson 3, we talk a little bit about you're turning your responsibilities into achievements. So I like to call these results-driven achievement statements. This is where we need to make sure we're focused on the outcome. We need to make sure that we're focused on the results. We need to show what you can do for another employer and what you've done in the past, and how is that going to translate into this new position. So we go through an exact framework on that as well. And then, of course, I talk about LinkedIn all day long. I love LinkedIn. We go through an exact 7-step system to build out and optimize your LinkedIn profile. I go through the main 7 sections. And if you're just getting started on LinkedIn, it's really the only ones I want you to focus on in the beginning. However, if you're getting used to using LinkedIn and you're comfortable with it, you have your entire profile optimized, I do mention a few other key sections that you can take advantage of on LinkedIn. But here's the thing, it gets really overwhelming. If I hadn't learned to use LinkedIn like 10 years ago when it first came out and hadn't seen all the changes, I would be really overwhelmed because there's a lot. But what I like to do is I like to break it down into only the 7 sections that you need to focus on if you want to start seeing attention from recruiters and start landing better career opportunities. And then, of course, in lesson 5, we're going to talk a little bit about AI prompts, not AI prompts just for your resume, but AI prompts for LinkedIn as well, because these kind of go hand in hand. I always like to have you write your resume first before we translate that onto LinkedIn, but I give you guys the strategy during next week's workshop. And then we go through not only using LinkedIn to apply for those positions, but using it to network authentically. So I have a strategy that I like you guys to follow. If you find a position on LinkedIn, you go to their company page, you apply to the position. Once you get the application in, you start reaching out immediately to whoever the recruiter is, whoever the hired manager is, human resources department, a potential boss, a potential coworker, letting them know, hey, I've submitted everything. I'm ready and super eager for this opportunity. Here's why I'm a good fit. And I give you guys all the templates and all the entire processes for all of that during next week's workshop. Now, we do have an exclusive bonus. If you guys decide to join us, you will get access to our online course management system right away. So as of today, immediately, you'll get access to the online course management system. Inside that, your instant bonus is our Cover Letter Confidence mini series. So again, this is where I take you through my strategy and what I like to call a really good freaking cover letter. And by the way, it does get results. I take you through my strategy on how to write a cover letter, and I even share the AI prompts that you can use to write a really good cover letter. And again, we don't want you sounding like everyone else. We want it to be personalized, and we want it to show your results and your outcome. In bonus number 2, we have our job interview mastery training pack. So again, you're starting with your applications, you're going over to LinkedIn, you're doing your cover letter, your resume, your profile, all that good stuff. But then we want to make sure you're landing the job interview. And then when you're in the interview, we want to make sure you're landing the job offer. So that's what we cover inside our job interview mastery training pack. These are fresh videos that we actually just uploaded. You also have an entire training pack included with that, and that's brand new as well. So you'll have access inside that. And then, of course, I did say it was a 20-page companion workbook for next week's workshop. I don't have it here with me today because it's in a box. I got to go get it out of my box since we just moved. So I'll show you this other workbook I have that's pretty cool too. So if you decide to join us in there, you'll also get that 20-page companion workbook. I ask you to bring it to next week's workshop because we pretty much go page by page. Again, it's going to be a 2-day workshop. And we're gonna cover a lot of stuff. Now, here is my fast action bonus for you. We've never offered this as a fast action bonus. If you decide to join us for next week's workshop, we're only going to do this for the first 20 people. You will have instant access to my job search success blueprint. This also comes with the workbook. This is the workbook I was going to show you. I just hosted this workshop live a couple weeks ago. This is such a good workbook. Let me tell you, my superpower is creating workbooks. I don't know why. I'm like a workbook dork, but anyway, so you'll also get access to our job search success blueprint. Again, this is only going to go to the first 20 people that join us in next week's resume and LinkedIn profile makeover workshop. I walk you through an entire job search strategy. We go through so many different things in this workshop, and you also have instant access to this. So there's a lot of material that you can catch up on before we meet again next week on Wednesday and Thursday for the resume and cover letter workshop. So if you guys decide to join us in that, and you want to be one of the first 20, definitely get in on that. That will sell out. We also have limited spots inside of the workshop next week. So if you want to join us for the workshop, you're going to definitely want to get in and get on that. So let me show you a couple other things, and I'm going to take some questions. The value of the entire resume cover letter workshop, it's actually probably worth more than this, right? But from what we can conclude right now is that it's worth 1970. And sorry that I went to my other screen, but here's the cool thing. If you guys decide to join us, we normally have this workshop priced out $297. We are doing a one-time offer for the live workshop for $47. Now this expires next Wednesday when the workshop starts. So once the workshop goes live, you won't be able to access the workshop anymore because we are hosting it live. Now for those that can't join us live and you still decide to enroll in the workshop, you will have unlimited replay access. So here's the cool thing. You'll be able to log into the learning management system. You'll be able to see the replay of day 1 and day 2, and you'll be able to catch up, get your workbook ready, and go through the material if you cannot join us live. However, joining live if you can is really darn fun. So you might want to really think about joining us live if you can and not necessarily catching the replay. So again, if you want to join us, you can go to heatheraustin.online/workshop. You can also scan this QR code on the screen. I'm going to leave that up there for a second so you guys can scan it. And then I want to see, there's a couple questions that came in. And pop, if you guys do have a question, here's the cool thing. If you put, I think Tim might have mentioned this to you, if you put Q in front of your question or even write question, on my end it pops up, like highlights it for me, which makes it super easy. Okay, so Rhonda, so happy to have you, says, let me see if I can put your question on the screen, Rhonda. Says, how can I surpass ATS and get in front of real recruiters for work from home marketing positions? I'm crafting my resume cover letter to match the job descriptions and still get loads of rejections. So here's where, again, we want to make sure your resume is 100% tailored. I would also love to know, Rhonda, as you're using AI to help you tailor, what type of results are you getting, and are you trying to prompt it a little bit more to make it more personalized so that it doesn't sound like an AI wrote your resume, right? That's going to be number one, is we want to make sure that these resumes are so darn tailored. The next step to this, Rhonda, would be once you submit that application, I want you to be looking at who is the hiring manager, who is the HR department in this company, who's the recruiter in this company, and I want you to be letting them know, hey, I just submitted my resume for this position, kind of like what I mentioned earlier. You're getting right on top of it. You're not waiting for a week to respond or do anything like that. You're getting right on top of it. And then you're also doing networking with people on the inside of that company and getting to know people, asking them what they like about the position, where they think the company's going, whatever questions you want to ask. And by the way, I share so many templates inside of my online course library for how you can do this whole entire system. If you're afraid to reach out to someone or you don't know what to say, I have templates and AI prompts that will help you get to that place. So Rhonda, it just seems like it's just a little few extra steps and some tweaks that will help you start getting noticed for those marketing positions. Let's see, any other questions that I can answer before we move on? Yes, I agree with that. Yes, someone says join live if you can. Heather has, Catherine, that's you. Do you have a new screen name? I don't know why the screen names are showing up different. That's really strange. You guys are all showing up with numbers on the end of your screen names. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I don't know. Is that weird to you guys too? I thought that was strange. YouTube's making some changes to the algorithm, obviously. Let's see. Okay, someone says, will you coach on live personally or just video? Nope, next week's workshop is live. It's very similar to what we're doing today, but we are in a private Zoom room. So it's going to be us. You're going to be able to talk to me. We'll be able to interact. You can ask me questions during the session. So yeah, it's going to be live and I'll be there. And you'll be there and we'll all be together and it will be a blast. And then we export all the lessons that we do during the Zoom call. And by the way, the Zoom room, we have a certain amount of people that can come. So if you want to join us, you'll definitely want to go to heatheraustin.online/workshop. Now, as you guys know, if you go through the checkout process, we always have our secure checkout using PayPal or a credit card. I want to share a quick story with you, and then I'll answer some more questions. Get your questions in if you can, or I want to share David's. I want to bring David on for just a second so you guys can hear his success story and hear kind of the steps that he took and how he got to massive success in his job search. So I'm going to put him on, and then I'll see you guys on the other end of this. Tell me a little bit about, before you kind of started putting some of these strategies into place, what did your job search look like before that?
Before that, it was pretty much nothing, just sending out resumes, black hole, not much happened, not getting any responses. Either didn't get a response or we're not interested or we moved on. It was just kind of that black hole, nothing happening. Then she started searching and I stumbled across your stuff and I was like, wow, this looks fabulous. And it just was like, okay, I need a lot of work here. So I redid everything, my whole resume, my cover letter, my LinkedIn profile. I literally followed your strategy. And as soon as that happened, I was contacted by about 4 different employers, all within about 6 weeks. And it was just like, what just happened here? A lot of it came down to my resume, my history of my employment. What I did is I created each bullet point, but I did a little bit different. Kind of, I followed your strategy, and I was using ChatGPT. Sometimes you come across as a superhero, right? You don't want this. You have to kind of put it back in your own words. And one of the things I found as a point for everyone else is when it spitted back the information for, here's a bullet point for you. I'm like reading it going, this doesn't really incorporate those original key skills or the challenges I've asked you to extract from it. Because I would actually say, what are the top key skills and what are the challenges in this posting? And I want you to basically sporadically implement those within my bullet points. And it didn't. So I updated that prompt to say, when you provide each bullet point, I want you to show me how you have addressed the challenge. And I want you to show me the key skills. And I also wanted, when I originally asked it to extract those top key skills, I said, wait a minute, I want to know how many times it was mentioned in the job posting. So I can actually see it. And then as soon as that happens, it's like, oh yeah, because you would actually, so you're right, I didn't incorporate. I'm like, well, of course not. Changed everything. Then of course, once you've had that all done, I just put it in my own words, so it sounded like me. And I did that with the cover letter. I followed your strategy and then the LinkedIn profile. And then the big part was when I started landing the interviews. That one job that I got, I was beyond prepared for it. I literally put hours upon hours. Just for the HR preliminary screening, I probably put in about 12 hours of preparation for it. Where most people just kind of review something. I was there for 12 hours. When they, within 5 minutes of the interview, they're like, oh my God, you got to come in and meet the person. You have to interview. I'm like, sure, I'll come down. So I was in person. As soon as I went in, I was completely prepared, sat down at the desk, pulled out a binder, pulled out like 5 papers around, pulled out a pen and paper. And they're like, she just looks at me, she's like, I go, no, I come prepared. She's like, I can see that. And with that interview, I probably put in about 16 hours of preparation. So at this point, I was like very, very confident because there was just so much preparation. What I was doing is I literally had the top skills printed and the challenges just in bullet points on the desk staring at us. So whenever we ask a question, I would just look at it and says, make sure you address these in your response and address the challenges. By the half an hour in the interview, I'm looking at them saying, I already know what your challenges are here just by our conversation, because I was taking notes and they're looking at me taking notes. But within half an hour, we into the interview, she goes, you definitely have to meet my peers. I was like, sure. She goes, the peer that you're going to meet used to do this job. He's moved on and got promoted. I says, okay. So I prepared for about another 16 hours for that interview, only a preliminary, just a half an hour interview. I think it was more of a cultural fit. They wanted to make sure I was fine. And then 5 minutes into that interview, I was so prepared for all the hours I put in. He actually had his hands laughing on the video call going, goes, David, your energy is permeating through the screen. I can feel it from here. Like you're like, wow. They told me I would get a call in about a month. I got it like 3 days later because we want to offer the job.
Wow.
I was at the top of the pay band. I was just floored. It like caught me off guard. So it's like super ecstatic. So that's why I reached out to you. Says, Heather, thank you.
Okay, I love David. I love the last part where he mentioned that his interviewer was like, your energy is permeating through the screen. So, you guys, with these proper job search strategies, with a system in place, with a proper resume, you know how to use AI properly, right? To get your contents tailored, getting into that job interview, because that's a whole nother phase. You know, I look at that as like later in the process. We just want to get you guys through the door first, and then we get onto the interview process. And then you land the job offer. So all these success stories that we hear, this is why I do what I do. Of course, not just that. For my 4 kids, right? That's like number one. But then when we get these success stories and we hear about people landing life-changing job offers, and I call them that because that's what they really are. And everything that we teach here is directed to help you guys do that. So if you have any questions, pop those into the chat. Remember, let me pop this screen up one more time. If you want to join us inside of our so many workshops, of our resume and LinkedIn profile makeover workshop next week, make sure you use the link that's pinned to the very top of the chat box. I will also have the link. Actually, the link's already in the description of this video if you are watching this on LinkedIn, but you do get also access to the Job Search Success Blueprint if you are one of the first 20. So you want to make sure you get in and do that if you are thinking about it. And then the workshop does start on Wednesday. You guys still have a little bit of time to decide if you want to join us, but seats are limited in this workshop. So I'm not going to be able to let everyone in, but if you want to join us, make sure you do that. Get any last minute questions into the chat so that I can help you get those answered. Yeah, that's so funny. Someone says YouTube has changed it to usernames. I don't know why they're doing that, because I loved, like, I'm seeing some of you guys familiar here. But then your name has like numbers on it. Like Frank, I know you. Cindy, I've seen you before. David, of course. And I'm so happy to see all of you guys here. I've missed you guys. It's been 6 months since we've live streamed. And I'm like, where are my people? I miss them so much. Okay, Frank, I'm gonna pop your question up here. Frank says, how do I, hang on, I got to get my glasses on to read that. Frank says, how do I circumvent H-1B recruiters? I'm in technology and really unable to travel weekly. I really need a remote position. So Frank, one of the things that you can do, if you don't already have, in fact, let me know in the chat, do you guys have LinkedIn Job Alerts set up? Type yes or no in the chat if you have LinkedIn Job Alerts set up. Those job alerts are so dang powerful because they will kind of direct you to who's hiring and what positions are currently available. Did I ever get this thing pinned? I think I did. Check the top of the chat for, yeah, I have a pinned comment at the very top for you guys for our workshop next week. But when it comes to LinkedIn, if you do not have the job alerts set up, I highly, highly, highly recommend you get those in, because that's going to give you guys an idea of what companies hiring, positions that are open right away. The other thing I want you to think about when it comes to the LinkedIn job alerts is I want you to be applying for those jobs right away. I don't want you to wait for 2 or 3 days. I want you to be one of the first applicants. So let's say, the job has been listed for 20 hours. I already want your application to be in. Now, sometimes you're not going to necessarily see it until 1 or 2 days later. You can even do filters on LinkedIn where you're filtering just for remote and you're filtering for positions that are posted that day. The other thing that's why this is so important is if you have your LinkedIn profile optimized properly, you're going to start getting notifications from recruiters looking for people that do what you do. So it all kind of works together. And remember back, let me show you guys this. I'm going to pop open the job hunt loop again, right? That most of you said, yes, I'm in this job hunt loop. Remember this? So when it comes to, let me open this. When it comes to the job hunt loop, we don't want you guys in this job hunt loop. We want you to be able to quickly get in and out of this as fast as possible, right? So the application process, the waiting process, the repeat, the ghosted, we want you to be able to apply, you're waiting, and then you're starting to land the interviews. That's what's going to create momentum. If you keep applying for positions, you're not hearing back from anyone, that is what's killing your confidence and costing you money day by day. So the quicker you can get the application in, hear back from recruiters. And you know what? I've noticed companies are getting a lot better these days at kind of keeping you posted on, well, and let me say, maybe the bigger companies. I don't think everyone does this, but keeping you posted on positions that, hey, you were currently reviewing your application, and then letting you know within a reasonable time, like, we want to interview you. And then within a reasonable time, if they want to move you on to the next interview step, or within a reasonable time if you're not selected. So we always want to have a few options in the loop, right? But we also don't want to have you stuck in this loop forever and ever and ever, because the more you are in this loop, the harder and harder it becomes. Remember, we want you to be able to have that targeted strategy, position yourself properly, and build that momentum. So keep that in mind when it comes to the job search. Someone mentioned Easy Apply is not recommended as everyone is using it. Apparently, I would not use Easy Apply. What I would do, in fact, this is what we talk about next week. What I would do is almost every company will still have the apply button. So you'll have apply and Easy Apply. Click on the apply button. It will take you to their company website where the job posting is listed, and apply that way. But remember, you haven't just stopped after you do that step. You now need to start reaching out to everyone, letting them know, hey, I'm here, I just applied. And of course, I always talk to you guys about the target or the hidden job market. That's a whole nother strategy where you are applying for positions that might not be listed, or that you are networking with your colleagues, people you went to school with, your neighborhood people, whoever it is, and letting them know that you are looking for work and asking for them to help you, asking for them to write a recommendation for you, or to give you a little bit more information about companies they might know that are hiring. So there's a couple ways around this. And the reason why I shared that clip earlier is because I don't want you guys to be discouraged, because I talk to people all the time about the job search and the job market, and they're like, oh my gosh, this company's laying off and that company's laying off, and my friend just lost their job and this person lost their job and my neighbor's not working. And yeah, if you're focused on that, you're going to get more of that, right? But from what I've seen, there are still industries and companies that are hiring like crazy. And it shouldn't be hard if we have that right strategy in place. So thank you for that comment. David says, is it best to go to the company website to apply? 100%. Always go to the company website. But again, you're not done after you do that. You have to keep going and reaching out to the people, letting them know you're there. If you have referrals on the inside, again, I've talked so much about that on this channel, where you are letting your referral know, hey, I just applied for this position. Would you be able to write a recommendation for me, or could you pass my resume along again in the process? And here's what I do. I would actually find who my boss would be, and I would type up a nice message. And by the way, you guys, I did invest in LinkedIn Premium, okay? This is the first time I invested in LinkedIn Premium is over the last couple of months. And I've told you guys over the last few years, if you are a job seeker, I do think you should have LinkedIn Premium, because then you can actually message companies. But what I would do is I would find who my boss would be, and I would say, hey, I just applied for this position. I'm super excited about this opportunity. Here's why I'm a really good fit. And I would actually attach my resume in a PDF to who the boss is or who the recruiter is, to be like, hey, I'm here, but you want to keep at the top of their mind so that they know that you're there, and they'll bring you into the interview process. And then that's a whole nother strategy. But I do teach that in my interview response playbook if you join us in the resume and LinkedIn workshop. Oh, I love it. Chris, this is why I love you guys so much. Chris says there's a typo on the word class. It needs correction. There's a typo. That's okay. Hold on. Give me just 1 second. I'm wondering if you put that. I don't know. Don't ask me, you guys. Listen, this is my first live stream in 5 months, 6 months. So give me a second to get warmed back up. Okay. If you click the link, let's see, it should be I don't even know the short link is heatheraustin.online/workshop. Try that. And then there is the link posted in the chat. That works. And then the link inside of the description, if you are watching this on replay, that works as well. So you guys are amazing. I just have to tell you, I love you guys to death. And I'm so happy that you guys joined me here today for this live training session. Make sure you go back and listen to anything that we talked about earlier. If you have any questions about it, of course, you can always email me at heather@professораustin.com. I have a wonderful virtual assistant, Tori, who helps me with my inbox because we get lots of emails. So make sure you email me there if you guys have any questions about anything with the workshop. I will be, if you are on my email list, I will be sending this out as replay. So you'll be able to click and watch the replay anytime you want. This workshop's going to be up on YouTube forever. So you always have access to that. But remember, spots are limited to our resume and LinkedIn profile makeover workshop next week. It's a 2-day live. It will be us. You'll be able to ask me questions one-on-one. It's an amazing opportunity for you guys to learn. And you also have replay access to that, but that's going to be inside your online course library. So you guys have an amazing rest of the day. Thank you so much, Tim and Catherine, for being the moderators. It's funny to see all the different usernames. I wonder if you guys can change those. You should see next time we do the live stream, see if you can change the username, because I'm so used to seeing familiar faces. And I still see you guys. I still see a lot of familiar faces, but thanks for joining me, you guys. It's been such a pleasure to hang out with you today, and we will definitely be in touch. Keep an eye on the channel because we are going to be doing lots more live trainings and all that good stuff. Okay, love you guys so much, and we will see you soon.